Hello, good morning. My name is Father Rayappa. I'm going to talk today about environmental issues. Today we talk about environment so much. Everybody is concerned about the environment which we are going to leave for the future generations and empty oceans, depleted land, and polluted waters and poisoned atmosphere and devoid of animals and plants, degraded biosphere. So this is what we are going to leave to the future generations. According to Pope Francis in Laudato Si, he simply states that we are going to leave filth. That's a very strong word. We are going to leave filth to the future generations. So, what exactly I mean by environmental issues? And we are concerned about so many aspects of our daily living, especially how we live and how we use natural resources, how we uh, understand about the environment, what are the ethical issues, and what are the social concerns when we talk about environment, and what about the legal considerations. Does Mother Nature have any rights, or only human beings they have rights? So these are the things I'm going to discuss right now on this video. So the first thing, resource use. I mean, planet Earth has plenty of resources, and of course people can use them, and even other creatures have their own right to use the natural resources. Mother Earth, she is the provider. She gives everything. She gives water. She gives food, also medicines. She gives shelter, and she gives medicines when you get sick, and she gives life ultimately. And she provides habitat. So there are resources, and you can use them, but only humans abuse them. There comes the conflict. And when you abuse something, you're going to exhaust that thing in a short term, and then it will be exhausted and it will be lost to the planet forever. Other words, they will go extinct. So resource use must be used uh, in a sustainable way. What is sustainable way? Take just for use, but don't abuse, and use it, and don't deprive of that resource uh, to the future generations. This present generation should use it, and also we should leave the resource base to the next generations in the usable condition. So that is what we mean by resource use. And then comes protection of nature. So we need to protect nature, because we are selfish. The whole natural world is selfish for that matter. The Richard Dawkins, the famous British author, wrote The Selfish Gene in 1972 or 73, and it was a bestseller in which he argues that every species is selfish, including human species. Of course, protection of nature is also selfish, because if we protect, we can use nature for our own survival, and it is selfish motive. At the same time, it works out well. It works out well for the mother nature. It works out well for other creatures and also for humans. The protection of nature should be a second nature, and it is in our biology. We shouldn't really coerce people to protect nature. It is a duty, and every child should know about it, and every parent should educate their children the protection of the nature, because by protecting nature we protect ourselves. In fact, we are in nature. In other words, we are nature. So we can't exist outside nature. The environment is within us. It is integral. So far we have understood that environment is outside and we are outside the environment. No. Today we talk about integral ecology. Pope Francis in Laudato Si talks about integral ecology, in which he recommends that we are in environment and we are not separate from environment. And the third thing is ethical considerations. When you talk about environmental issues, it's very important. And today there is no righteousness, and there is no bioethics, there is no moral values, there is no moral conduct. And I think the global warming, climate change, the issue of water, the extinction of species, the degradation of the soils, all of them point out that humans have lost the moral compass, and we lost our consciousness. And we need to live with conscious human beings. They are unique. Um, as far as we can have the big brain and ability to think and reason out, and the capacity to cognition, and we can develop an argument, and we can accept or reject free will, and we are moral beings, and it's a values is embedded or inherent in human beings, and righteousness in Indian context is called dharma. So in other words, we can call it human ecology. So that is my human ecology. I am an ethical person. So I'm afraid that for the past 200 years, people lost the ethical compass. There is no moral value there. There are no bioethics, and there is no consciousness. So ethical considerations are very, very important when you talk about environmental issues. In Laudato Si, Pope Francis says, the outer world is the reflection of the inner world. The outer world is in the dilapidated condition. You know why? Because the inner human interior is in the dilapidated condition. So the inner world has turned into desert. The outer world is also turning into desert. That is ethical considerations, put it more plainly. And then we talk about the goal of life. What is the goal of life? When we talk about environmental issues, what is the goal? We should define human. What is the purpose of his life? Is it a profit generation? Humans are addicted to profit, profit, profit. Greed, in other words. Every production, every distribution, markets, economy, and everything is focused on profit. Profit. Small capital and big profit. Today, science and technology, the markets are determined by some powerful multinational corporations, and they decide, and actually they manipulate people and they dictate, and it's a power. Science and technology and the modern production and distribution and markets, the economy is in the hands of the powerful people, and they rule even our privacy. There is no privacy. Where is privacy? Your cell phone, you're all the time connected with the World Web, and there is computer, you are on the World Web, television, mass media, Twitter, WhatsApp, everything is connected there. And then there is no privacy at all. And people want to make money. Money is the main motive. Greed. So we become violent. Selfishness. That is what is our problem. That's a human problem. Selfishness. What can you do with the money and the gold, with the profit? How much you can eat? Tell me. How much you can enjoy? I mean, there is a limit to everything. So, I think profit motivated life is not at all a human life. For human being, simplicity is the beauty. Humility is the beauty. Man can learn to be happy with small things. We don't need big things. Human beings can enjoy small, little, simple things. He is capable of that. And happiness means how to know to limit some needs. Again, I repeat, happiness means how to limit some wants or some needs. So, profit is not the goal. Just what we need is food, dress, and shelter. And when we talk about environmental issues, we should talk about social concerns. What are the social concerns? There are 7 billion people on planet Earth. Only 2 billion people, they have everything. 80% of the resources are distributed among this 20%. The other 80% of the people are poor. That's almost 5 billion people I'm talking about. They are poor. This is a social concern. You see, the progress and development, and when you take something, the natural resources, equity, the equal distribution of the wealth. So that is what we are talking about in the social concerns. Everybody should be equal, equally distributed. There are no poor, there are no rich, there are no special people, and there are no disadvantaged. And some people think they are special and they have everything. No, we all have. We should distribute the earth's goods equally. There are no rich and there are no poor. And everybody is rich means everybody rich, everybody is poor. We're all equal. Equity. So today there is a big disparity. And today there is inequality. Poverty. Some people are enjoying life in luxurious environment. Other people are condemned into utter poverty. So that is what social concern is all about. That's first world, third world, second world, fourth world, now upper middle class and superior class and poor class. They are known as the bottom billion. And also even in economic growth, it's a high economic growth and medium economic growth and low economic growth. You see, somehow we end up in discrimination. Somehow we end up in this kind of factionism. So we always faction. Slowly we divide and fragment. That's what we are doing. So I think social concerns are very, very important. Pope Francis Laudato Si talks about social concerns, and we should become equal, and we should become the masters of distribution with justice. Where is the social justice? When I talk about social concern, social justice is absolutely inherent. And when we discuss about environmental issues, social concern is a really paramount element as we talk about humanity and progress and development. And then when we talk about environmental issues, we should talk about job protection. Today, machines, science and technology, and the machines come and replace the human labor. But human labor is beautiful. It's a sort of a creativity. People of last century, they were so proud that they made things with their hands. Such a beautiful pens, such a beautiful brushes, such a beautiful small specks and glasses. They were so proud when somebody wears a glass, and the man one who designed them, he takes pride in it. I designed that glass, I designed this pen, I designed this brush, I designed that artifact. Look at that. People feel so proud about it. So today we are manufacturing everything by machines. When humans, they manufacture something, they show utter care, and they use resources carefully, and business and profit is not the motive, just an immediate service to the neighbor. That is the motive. Love is the motive. Neighborliness, that is the motive. Can I do something for you? And other person, can I do something for you? This is how the village economy has been built. Mahatma Gandhi beautifully put it in Swadeshi, and Swaraj and Sarvodaya. So I do things for you, and you do things. That's a village economy. So job has to be protected. That is the first requirement for a human being. That is the dignity. I have a job. I work hard to earn my bread, and I take care of my family through my work because God Himself gave us work. That was the first mandate. Till it and keep it. He told the first Adam and Eve, till it and keep it. So job protection is very, very important. And then when we talk about the environmental issues, we should talk about legal considerations. Legal considerations. I mean, everybody has rights. And today, as if planet Earth not having any copyright. Mother Earth has rights. It has a copyright. It belongs to the Lord. Earth belongs to the Lord. So that is a copyright. The Creator has the copyright. And He protects and He cherishes what He created. And He defends Earth with justice. Yeah. Legal considerations when I talk about them. And we need to talk about animal rights, frog rights, snake rights, dinosaur rights, mosquito rights, impala rights, elephant rights, tiger rights, crocodile rights. Not only that, we should talk about also the earth elements, soil rights, water rights, air rights, life rights. So, everybody has rights. And we need to respect. What is the use of human rights to a frog? If frogs have their own rights, yeah, they are protected. What is the use of having human rights when you compare with chicken rights? Chickens, if they have their own rights, that means they can impose barriers for human exploitation, isn't it? They have rights. The Creator has given them rights to live, to flourish, to fulfill their duty for the purpose of the common good of the universe, isn't it? That's right. That's right. They have rights. So whole planet is having rights. It's called cosmocracy, a new word. In other words, cosmic democracy. We have all the nations probably they have achieved a human democracy. The next level is we should talk about cosmic democracy. Human democracy is over. That's enlightenment. But another stage of enlightenment is establishing rights for every creature. So we should do that. We should make laws. We should write bioethics. We should formulate structures in order to protect the little creatures, plants and animals and the Panjabhutas, that is the 5 elements. So finally, when we talk about environmental issues, we should talk about government action. There comes the problem. The inability of the government, the leadership. I think that is the main problem. The inability of the politics and the leaders. That is what costed the planet. All the environmental problems because we don't have able leadership. Ultimately, they don't enforce any laws. Bribe rules. Bribe is ruling the bureaucracy and the politics. They don't enforce any laws. The laws are there, isn't it? Laws are there, already we formulated laws. There is Environmental Protection Act already in every country. And United Nations on biodiversity found the issue of water, even on rights. There are water rights, river rights, and forest rights, animal rights. As old as Artha Shastra, we are talking about 500 years before Christ, 500 BC. Kaurilya, he wrote about animal rights. Chandragupta Maurya, Asoka, the great, all of them talked about animal rights. They were enforcing. In those times, there was enforcement. If people hurt some animal, the kings took action. They put humans in the jail, or they killed the animals. Killed the humans. So there are a lot of stories. We are talking about before Christ. So where are those rights? We threw them out. Our government never ever. They don't enforce any laws. International leadership should think about it, talk about it, and enforce. And the binding, we should enforce binding. For example, when there is a factory and they are emitting carbon, and then you enforce, and also you bring the binding, which is already established by international community. And if they don't behave, put them in jail and give them, punish them. And every country should be operated on social justice and truth and honor and righteousness. I think government action is the very, very weakest element when it comes to environmental issues. Very sad. So I think that is the place where we should focus. International leadership, especially United Nations and other social organizations, should have a plan and develop a strategy. And probably international embargo. They did it in, Libya. So many years there was economic embargo against Libya, and a lot of things international community has accomplished. Why can't we do that when it comes to environmental issues? Because environment, we don't consider it as our own, very important. But today, the new consciousness is really appearing on the planet Earth. So environmental issues, we should give important attention, isn't it? It's worth it. Because without environment, we can't live. Without Earth, there is no economy, there is no society, there is no ecology, and there is no science, no religion. So I think environment is the most important. It's the mother of all other disciplines. So I think we need to protect our planet Earth, and environmental issues we should give primary attention, and education is the best. Environmental education is the best. So I think through education we can really renew, and we can fix thousands of environmental problems, isn't it? So education starts from awakening. So let us teach our children, the future generations, give them education on the environment, and give them education on protection of the biodiversity, and how to manage water, how to manage resources, how to protect nature, how to revoke our ethical perceptions, and how to denounce profit orientation, and how to show attention to social concerns and protect jobs, and how to enforce legislation, and how to enforce laws and punish those who not comply with the international agreement. I think in that way we can solve some of the environmental issues. And I wish you all the best and have a nice day. Bye. Thank you.